deal. Right, the first thing I'd like to give you, right, is this Change Starts With You CD. Right, it features our principal network advisor. Right, as an independent associate, right, he's built a multi-million-dollar business, and he shares principles and philosophies that will aid you in your growth. All right, and so what happens here is we can't do this if we don't have this CD in stock. All right, so let's make sure that as we leave here this weekend, you order this material. It's so that we can start each new person the exact same way. Right? It's so appropriate because here this weekend is called Change Starts With You. It's only appropriate that we get every new associate understanding from day one that the success in their business, it starts with them. All right, and so that's what we're going to do. We're going to hand them that CD. Now let's talk about the phrase that pays. All right, I'm very big on inventory and inspection. All right, we're always looking to mark the X, right, to see where the gap perhaps is happening here. So someone says to me, you know, Mr. Mack, I got a new associate started, but I can't get the list from them, right? No one's doing their list. And so then my follow-up question is this, is did they skip out, right, on your first step training? Did they skip out on the appointment that you set with them to have a game plan interview? And what happens is this, the answer every single time is that we never set one. Right, so this is really about what I like to call BAM FAM, book a meeting from a meeting. All right, every new associate that comes on board after the briefing, a luncheon, a sit down at Starbucks, it doesn't matter. After we give them that CD, here's what we say next. Our next step is. Can you guys say that with me? Our next step is. Right, our next step is to get together over the next 48 to 72 hours to complete your first step training. Right, our next step is to get together over the next 48 to 72 hours to complete your first step training. What has been happening, which we want to work away from, is just giving them a first step document and saying, make a list, call me when you're finished. No, you're responsible. You're responsible as the sponsor to that new associate to schedule time with them over the next 48 to 72 hours to help them launch their business, right? My first slide talked about launching, getting your business started right. When you think about a launch, when they used to send the space shuttles up into orbit, when you think about a launch, it was a thrust, right? 80% of the fuel is burned during the launch. We've been having too many little firecracker launches around here, right? Little psst, pat, right? Psst, pat. See, that's why we can't get the momentum that we think we should have. So we've watched people have success here, and we hear about these explosive first months and first 90 days. Well, it's because their launch was different, right? And so this is what we're talking about. All right, so our next step is to get together over the next 48 to 72 hours to complete your first step training. And so what you're going to do is open up your calendar, and we're going to have them, of course, give you the day and time so that you guys can meet. Now, we're also going to give them the website as they part from you. You can tell them, right, what I'd like you to do is go to legalshield.com/start. Okay, I'd like you to go there to start your first step training. And so we have to really pay attention to what that /start has been about. It's just sending them there, right, so that they can start. Now, this process here, you know, I always get excited about it because I kind of pick on myself here. This is a cycle that we have here where we have the first step training where you meet with the new person to build the list and build the relationship. Remember I said we're talking about reducing dropouts by 50%, right? So building a relationship would help with that, wouldn't it? right? So we build the list, we build the relationship. That's in the first step training aspect of it. Then we start to contact and invite the list to presentations so that we can close. Now for me, you know, my first month, because I was launched right by my sponsor, Mr. Carlo Brown, Millionaire Club member, we earned about $5,000 our first month. We went executive director our first 90 days, earned in excess of $80,000 our first year because we had a successful launch, right? A successful launch, right? We built the list and we built the relationship. We caught about 200 people, right, actually over that 90-day period. We are at a six-figure annual income. Now here's where I pick on myself. You know, Mr. Brian Carruthers, in that first 3 days for him, he called 200 people and he earned 6 figures a month, right? We're talking about frequency. But for those of you who laugh at my income versus his income, most people call 200 people in 3 years. You see the difference? So really what we're talking about here is speed, right? Success loves speed. Can you guys repeat that for me?
Success loves speed.
Right? So it's how fast can we get with that new person? Right? So if they actually joined at a luncheon, right, at noon, you could schedule that first step training to meet with them that evening at 6 o'clock when they get off at 7 o'clock. So we said over the next 48 to 72 hours, right? But if we can get that done again that day, right, it's okay. Again, because success loves speed. So let's get a little bit more into what we're going to talk about here at the event. So this is the document that you see, and we're excited often to give that to the new associate. But again, it's a little bit more than that. You're scheduling time to get to know, like, and trust one another because we're building the list and we're building the relationship because that's what people will stay for, the relationship. But also, it's you helping them to win. It's helping them to succeed. It's not just about discovering talent here, because I know a lot of time we're looking for the rock star, but it's about developing talent, right? That's what will keep people here, the potential that we all have, but we have a huge responsibility here. All right, so when we meet up, we're going to extract their reason why. Why did they join the business? Now, I know over time, our reasons why start to grow. And we start to talk about whys that are big enough to make you cry, right? But we can't walk around, right, and build this business all sad over it, right? Right? You have to be excited about it, right? But the new person who just joined, the reality, the why that we're extracting from them, they invested that $149 because of a bill that was due 2 months ago, a mortgage that's behind, a car note that's behind. So let's find out exactly what that is right now. Why did they invest, right, that $149? Let's get that in writing. And then we're going to let them know, well, let's go ahead and start to build this list, right? Your most valuable asset is your database, right? It's the people that you currently know. So we're going to start with your 10 best and your 10 easiest. The 10 best and the 10 easiest are the individuals who are going to look at it just because it's you, right? Let's start that with that in that group right there. But then we're going to continue to build this list out to more than 100, right? We can take it to 150, we can take it to 200. But here's something that's often missed, and we're talking about 90% of the time. Right, is actually contacting and inviting the people on that list, right, at this game plan interview, right? When you meet up with that new associate, right, within that 48 to 72 hours, right, we're going to teach them how to contact and invite right now. See, we're going to wipe off the makeup that had me looking like Tony now, right? See? Right? And so what happens here, right? And so what happens here is when you meet with that new associate, right, at this first step training, which again is the game plan interview, we're going to start to contact and invite the people on their list today, right, to their private business reception or to their PCC, right, to their private conference call. right? The private business reception, right, has been put in place to help the person launch their business, right? It's to launch the business. That thrust that we're talking about is the grand opening for that new associate. Now, when we have the private conference call, it's just like a private business reception. It's just done over the phone, right? The private conference call can come before the private business reception, right, or vice versa. So let's kind of talk about how to contact and invite, because we've had a huge challenge here with contacting and inviting. What I'm saying to you is businesses, they're coming to a halt because we're having a challenge getting the new person to want to make dials, right? All we want them to do is be truthful. And I think if we're truthful, right, we can get the new associates to make dials if you just teach them and ask them to be truthful. We simply ask them to pick up the phone. So for example, I picked up the phone and called Uncle Bob. And it's okay, it's natural for me to call Uncle Bob, even if I haven't talked to him in a while. And so I'll say to Uncle Bob, hey, how's it going, Uncle Bob? This is Kevin. He says, everything is great. And then I say, look, I was wondering, what do you have on your schedule this Saturday at 6? See, I'm already finding out whether he's busy or not. Now, we've heard the phrase over years, right, by our founder, that you don't have to be good, you simply have to be what? Busy. Our chief responsibility every day is simply to be busy finding out when other people are not busy. That's it. That's it. Every day is finding out when they're not busy. So if I call Uncle Bob and I say, hey, what do you have on your calendar this Saturday at 6? I'm finding out what? Whether he's busy or not. Because I can't show him the plan if he's busy. Right? So Uncle Bob says, nothing. I'll be around the house. I'm just, I'll be laid back doing some housework. Then you simply say, well, great. Well, look, I made an investment, right? Which is the truth. Right? I made an investment that I believe is going to help me to reach my financial goals in life a lot sooner than later. Which is what? The truth. Right? I'm having a private business reception at my home this Saturday at 6. I'd like to know if you come by and support me. This is what you are responsible for teaching the new associate. Right? It's not us making the dials for them. It's getting people off to a successful start, teaching them how to win. Right? Not just sending people to basic training thinking that they're supposed to train your team. Not just sending people to Super Saturdays thinking that's where your team gets trained. No, you personally develop and train the individuals on your team. You can help them expand as they say and go through this script more and more when they get to the next family member. Hey, what do you have on your calendar this Saturday at 6? I made an investment that I believe is going to help me reach my financial goals in life a lot sooner than later, such as paying for my daughter's college education. See, you can even teach them how to insert their reason why in this simple script. So first they're going to memorize it, then they're going to internalize it, and then they're going to personalize it. And so through spaced repetition, as they go through this, they'll get better and they'll have no problem going through their list of 100, right? So again, the objective for you is to spend this time with them, and you're actually going to get better, right? Everything is about the next step, right? Bam, fam. So before you leave that game plan, that first step training, right, you're going to tell them about the next step CDs that's going to be coming in a few days. The opportunity for them once again, right, to listen and learn from the individuals who built massive organizations here with Legalshield. And so thus their personal development has begun, right? It's begun with change starts with you, right? It's begun with the next step CDs. So if we simply focus on this, give this some true time and attention, because again, we said this is what moves the needle. This is what reduces dropouts by 50%. So this is a big deal of teaching people how to successfully launch And successful launches, they aren't just 3 days, right? They're 90 days of helping a person get started.